Look good, color good. I like it.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Hey guys, okay, so this is day 8 of my brand new cookbook shoot. Woohoo! Watch the stairs, guys, don't fall. So I have not shown you guys the process of how we actually go about making my cookbooks yet. So I wanted to do some of that today. I've got some really cool recipes that you wouldn't expect to be in this wok cookbook. I'm doing the most amazing things like smoking salmon, doing sumac chicken bowls, tacos, things you wouldn't expect ordinarily in a wok cookbook. So let me take you through some of the day, cook you some of the recipes, and show you how we make a cookbook.
Ready, set, let's go!
Oh, I got this guy standing up. Beautiful. Cool.
Calling it?
Calling it.
Lovely.
Lovely. What's next? So we're talking wok cookbook, and you're probably thinking, okay, great, we're going to do a whole bunch of stir fries here. Yes, stir fries are one of my favorite things to do in my wok, but I don't eat stir fries every day, but I do use my wok every day. And that's because my wok's really good at doing so many other things. And I make this for dinner at home all the time, this style of recipe where we're actually using the wok to char and like get some good flavor on things that aren't necessarily Asian. So I've got some chicken breast here. I'm going to start chicken breast. I don't use chicken. Do I use chicken breast? I've gone crazy. This is chicken thigh, legs and thighs girl always. And I'm going to add some spices. Now I have sumac. I love this because it gives you this really lovely, beautiful lemony kind of flavor. It's very intense, really great spice to have in your cupboard. I'm going to go in with some cumin, some cinnamon, and then we get into some aromatics here. So I've got some garlic. I think that the easiest way to peel garlic is to just get your hands dirty. I think the whole thing with peeling garlic is people don't want to smell the garlic, but unfortunately garlic is just, it is what it is. Don't be a hater, and don't use the garlic in the jar. So only psychopaths do that. Holly, producer Holly.
I've changed my ways.
I know you have. Now, you guys might be surprised to know that I typically won't eat a lot of Asian food for dinner during the week because I'm here cooking stir fries and noodles and all of my delicious Asian things during the day, and I kind of feel like something a little bit different at night time. So this is actually the kind of thing that I love to eat on a weeknight. Lots of fresh ingredients along with big, bold flavors, and I'm really excited to show you how you get those sorts of flavors using a wok and some of my really special wok techniques. Now I'm also going to add some lemon. So the fresh lemon is going to really enhance that deep kind of citrus flavor that I'm getting from the sumac, from the dried spice. Whenever I'm using lemon juice, I typically will do the zest as well because why waste it? And also the zest has such a beautiful intense flavor. So it's really great to use. And then the juice too. A little bit of olive oil, pepper. Ah, this is smelling so good. Now just one last thing here, I am actually going to add my onion in with the chicken too. So just give that a very thin slice. Okay, so this doesn't need very long. I'm just going to set it aside while I make this really amazing, beautiful green, well, it's sort of like a green goddess kind of dressing. So this is my green yogurt dressing, which means I need some yogurt. I'm going to add some olive oil, zest and juice. A little bit of honey is nice here because it kind of offsets all those sour flavors. And parsley. So typically at home, I'll kind of use whatever herbs I have kicking around the bottom of the crisper. So it could be dill, could be coriander, could be mint, but I've got parsley today. It's gonna go in just like a rough chop. And now some garlic. So disclaimer here, this is quite a garlicky kind of dish. I love it. The chicken has lots of toasty garlic in it, and this has a very fresh garlic flavor. So you can leave the extra garlic out if you would like to. And a little salt. And now we blend. Oh my goodness, look at that color. I love that. It's such a happy color. Ah, and so easy to make. Beautiful. You could make like double that batch and then have an extra lot of dressing for tomorrow night. And you know, it's really lovely drizzled on fish or just plain grilled chicken or a, you know, vegetarian salad or anything like that. It's beautiful. Look at that. So nice. If I could just give you one tip, like just one thing to do at home that would make your wok cooking, or actually any of your cooking in a pan, that much better, it would be just preheat the pan. Like literally, just get it really hot. Wait for it to smoke, don't be scared of the heat, and that's it. It seems like such a simple thing, but I think a lot of people get really scared about the amount of heat or the little bits of smoke that are coming off your wok. It's supposed to do that. If it's a pre-seasoned, beautiful patinaed wok, just like this one, it's going to give you a little bit of that breath of the wok, and that's actually what you want. As soon as that chicken hits the pan, the temperature is going to drop, and once it drops, everything starts to stew, and that's when you get badly cooked food. So the pan needs to start really hot so that when that temperature drops, it doesn't drop too much. So I spoke to someone the other day, and actually the reason I wrote this book was because I had someone come and talk to me at one of our pop-up stores, and she said, look, I just get really scared, and as soon as it starts to smoke, I turn the heat off. And I'm like, well, how are you cooking anything? So that's why I wanted to write the book, why I wanted to share all these just little things with you guys that I thought was assumed knowledge from, I guess, growing up with my mum cooking in the wok all the time. But I realized that these things maybe aren't so assumed, and that maybe we should chat about them a little bit, which is what we're doing. Okay, so is this looking scary enough?
Yeah.
Is it scary? Okay, so this is the kind of scary that you want. Drizzle the oil all around, and that way you're kind of oiling the surface of the wok, because when you get this chicken in and when you get any protein in, you want to spread it out straight away. That's the sound you want. And immediately I can smell that we have searing going on. Like those onions smell like they're caramelizing. I've pushed the proteins out so I'm getting as much contact with the heat of the pan as possible, and it is smelling good. Okay, so you know that thing where you see people on TikTok or in a movie, like getting the wok and there's flames and they're like, tossing it around. When you're at home and you've got a home burner, that's just not going to work. So what you need to do is adapt your cooking technique with your wok to the burner that you have, whether it's electric or induction or gas in this case. There's just not a huge amount of heat here, so I'm letting the meat sit for 2 or 3 minutes rather than going in there and trying to be all dramatic about it. Just let it sear first, and then we'll come back and stir fry.
Mama Noe, what are you up to? What's going on? How's the food out there?
Look good.
Yeah?
And it tastes good too.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this one.
Yeah, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, right? Beautiful.
Of course.
This one.
Are you pretty good on a wok, Noe?
I like it because Thai people we use wok a lot for cooking. Everything cook in a wok.
I love that.
Deep fry everything in a wok.
Yeah.
This is good. I like it.
So this has been a good 3 or 4 minutes now, and I'm going to show you what we're looking for when I start to stir fry, okay? So, and immediately you can see these onions have got that lovely color on them. The chicken has got already this really nice, beautiful char on some of those pieces there. So the essence of wok cooking is about moving the food through the air, and then again, let it settle back and sizzle a little. And this is how you go about creating that beautiful sear and all those lovely flavors. So while my chicken's just still doing its searing thing over here, I'm just gonna prep the rest of my bowl. So I'm gonna do a salad bowl here. You could do rice if you want to, but I love making this really fresh and green and crunchy. Just a few salad leaves. Got some snow pea shoots here as well. Again, just go with what you've got in your fridge. You know, this is supposed to be a really quick weeknight kind of thing, which is why I use the wok, because it's very quick to cook that chicken and get that really lovely char on it. Okay, I've also got some cucumber here. And during the week, I'm always just trying to incorporate as much color as possible. That's kind of like how I do healthy, which is to say, you know, things need to be really tasty, and then I just add some colorful elements, which I hope gives me more of a virtuous kind of dinner. My warm chicken here on the side. Some beetroot that I pickled. I steamed it in my wok and then just used a really simple pickling method. But you could use store-bought as well. The idea here, as I said, is just to add lots of color to the bowl so you feel great eating it. Okay, now here is my dressing. And I mean, that is just such a happy bowl. Look at that. A few pine nuts here. And there you go, my sumac chicken salad bowl. So this is the kind of thing at the end of the day at home that I'm aiming to eat. I have a beautifully flavored protein, lots of colorful veg, a really damn good sauce. So good. Just that extra step of adding those marinade ingredients and then going to the trouble of searing the chicken properly in the wok. Beautiful char on the chicken, a little hint of smokiness. It almost tastes like you got the charcoal grill out and was grilling that chicken. The flavor. So good. I think you want to get like a big chunk sort of through here. Ah, that's lovely.
It's gorgeous.
It's a thing of beauty, isn't it?
Beautiful. Wow, this is so beautiful. I love working with recipes like this. I can't wait to show you how to make this smoked salmon.
What do you think about that color?
I like the color, and I like eat salmon. I can eat salmon every day.
One of the really surprising and not so traditional things to do in a wok is actually to smoke salmon. And I think this is so cool that you can smoke salmon without having a fancy smoker, without even having wood chips. So I'm just going to use some simple pantry stuff. If you have a look here, I've just got some black loose tea. So that's one of our smoking ingredients, and some rice. And the rice kind of helps to regulate the temperature so things don't get too hot in the wok, because you're gonna have sugar that burns. This is the brown sugar. So it does burn, but it does give you that smokiness, but I don't want it to be too smoky and burnt, if you know what I mean. So the rice kind of helps with that. And then we have spices. So I've got Szechuan peppercorns, star anise, and that, my friends, is your smoking mix. The second part of this technique involves a little bit of crafting with some aluminium foil. So I want to make a little foil pouch here. Fold that over, pour this into the center, and then you want to fold this into a little packet. All right, so you start off with your wok set up here, and what I've got inside is a sort of a cake rack. I kind of bent the sides a little bit to kind of fit it nicely into my wok here. So I'm going to use that to perch my salmon on while it smokes. But before we get to that, I just need to do a little bit of preparation here. Now, the burnt sugar in our smoking mix will be a disaster if you get it on your wok. So to make sure that doesn't happen, line everything with foil. So now we grab the smoking mix, it's our little packet here, but inside, I always feel like I'm making like a child's school experiment at this point, but it will be beautiful in the end. Hold on. So this goes in over the top. And now I have this really beautiful piece of salmon here. I've asked the fishmonger for like a whole side, and then I trimmed up a piece here that will fit snugly into my wok. So that's another key thing. Make sure the fish will fit into your wok. I'm just going to cut this baking paper. And now this will fit beautifully right in here, sitting on the baking paper, because fish skin and metal don't mix. That is a very messy thing. You will not get the fish off it. So you want to have some extra protection here. Okay, so I've got some smoke happening here. I can actually smell a bit of that sugar starting to burn. So I think I'm going to pop my salmon in. Such a beautiful piece. Okay, so lid goes on, and you can see that extra little bit of foil kind of like snugly makes everything a bit more airtight. And then we just leave that for about 10 or 12 minutes. And when we come back, things will be looking a little bit different. While my salmon's doing its thing, I'm gonna make a really quick pickled cucumber. Fine slices here. Oops. They are literally running everywhere. Now just some sugar, vinegar, and some salt. These just need 20 or 30 minutes, and then the cucumber will be kind of like all pickled and sweet and salty. And then what you do is just drain them off and mix through a little bit of dill, a little bit of mint, just for like some herby freshness. My last little technique here for the salmon is to create a sticky sweet glaze that gets put on after it's been smoked. So I'm gonna go in here with some soy sauce, honey, and just a dash of dark soy sauce. Okay, so at this point I can smell that things are going on in here. It's not too smoky though, so this is doable inside. Just make sure at this point you probably open up a few windows. This is where we get a bit of smoke, so let's have a look. So at this point, our salmon has a really lovely caramel spiced kind of flavor to it, but I don't think it's really quite dressed for the party yet, which is why I have my glaze, because I want this to be beautiful and dark and mahogany colored on the top. So I'm going to transfer this carefully and just blot the top here with a little bit of paper towel just to dry off any of those juices there. So I want to get a really nice caramelization going under the grill in a second. Take your glaze and just brush that over the top. And this is really relatively simple to make, and what a show-stopping piece of salmon this will be. I'm so excited to show you guys. Okay, just a little bit of color there, a little bit of flavor and sweetness. So my salmon is now looking very beautiful. I love the color and it just looks so beautiful and happy. Love it. Okay, this is the tricky bit where I need to get it off the tray. Okay, onto my platter. So we're just doing the final dressing bits here, and I want to get some lemon and my cucumber. Few little sprigs of dill here. Now the great thing about this salmon is that you can choose whether you want to serve it warm, or it is even fine served cold as well. So just really simple things, because the salmon itself looks so beautiful. And there we go, hot smoked salmon done without the tricky smoking ingredients and just some pantry items. Ah, look at that. So impressive. I am really excited about getting in here and showing you what this looks like. So if you peel away some of that salmon, oh, it looks so good. I love that color difference, the mahogany on the top, beautiful pink through the center. Now let me grab a piece here. That is so beautiful. If you have never tried hot smoking your own salmon at home, this will be life-changing. I mean, I can taste this beautiful kind of like caramelly sugar, almost just burnt sugar flavor like through the salmon. It's almost like it's been kind of candied a little bit with that glaze as well. Oh, it's so good. Honestly, it's so impressive. I mean, your friend's gonna be like, whoa, you did that? That's what I like about it. Oh, so good.
Jamie, how are we looking?
Taco. Taco. What we've got here is another taco. Do you like tacos?
Fascinating. I love tacos.
I love it.
It's good stuff.
Just some sausage and tater tots.
Sausage and tater tots. Cooked in a wok.
Like the mushrooms. Really subtle.
Yeah.
To see. Yeah. The mushrooms are very subtle too. Oh, they'll work it out.
Yeah.
One of the things I loved about creating this book was being able to really get stuck into the detail of things like a stir fry. I wanted to include something that really elevated the stir fry into pure art, and I love this image we created together. It really shows you the visual anatomy of a stir fry, starting with proteins and then going into your aromatics and then your vegetables. I just think it's a really beautiful way to show how a stir fry comes together. Now, along with this, I have so many tips on how to use your wok to its best advantage. And here are my top tips if you're stir frying mincemeat, which I know is one of the most common things for people to do in their wok. So tip number 1, get your wok really, really hot. Wait for those little tendrils of smoke to tell you that the wok is ready to go. Tip number 2, rather than dump your oil into the center of the wok, swirl it around the sides so that you're really coating the maximum amount of surface area. Number 3, be patient. When you're stir frying at home, you have a lower heat than you would if you were in a restaurant, so spread your mince out and let it sear before you do anything else. And with those tips in mind, let's make my beef and chorizo tacos. So my universal stir fry tips apply whether or not you're doing a traditional stir fry or not. So I'm actually going to do a taco here, but I'm going to use the same principles of using my wok to its most effective by doing some really good technique when we actually get to searing the taco filling. But first of all, I need to make something spicy because I'm always making things spicy, of course. I'm going to make a little salsa. So I've got some tomatoes, jalapenos, some garlic. One of the things I really loved about making this book was actually kind of taking all the things that I actually use my wok for at home. So doing things like seared sumac chicken, which we made, or doing the smoked salmon, or even this taco filling, and telling you guys about it. So even though these recipes are a little different to what you would normally see me cooking, I'm really happy to be able to share them and to be able to give you a little insight into the techniques that I use at home. So I've always loved the process of making books. I think I made my first one about 13 years ago, and I love everything from coming up with the concepts to writing the recipes, testing them, researching them, which is one of the reasons why it was such a dream come true when I actually started my own publishing company. So that was really amazing, but everything from the ground up. I love the testing itself, creating these recipes. I do most of my writing at like 4:30 in the morning. If you're a mom, you know that you don't get hardly any time to yourself at home. So 4:30 has been when I've been writing this book. So there's been a lot of caffeine involved. A little bit of garlic here, a little bit of onion, and some chili. So a lot of these recipes come from the way I actually use my wok at home, and I think all my books start with how I cook at home and what I like to eat, and then we go from there. But these sorts of recipes came about because I literally use my wok every day. It sits on my stovetop. I just love what it does to food. It transforms everything. It gives it flavor, gives it char, gives it so many things. I just love it. So yeah, I guess this idea and this concept came from wanting to share that with everyone. And this is jalapenos in here. Now you could add more and make it a bit spicy. This is something I like to give to my kids though, so I'm gonna keep it on the milder side. A little bit of salt, I need some lime. Now my herb of choice here is coriander. Now I know some of you call this the devil herb. If that's you, simply replace it with some mint. That is going to be just as nice. Let's give all that a mix. I will typically always make something really light and fresh to go with something that's heavy like a taco filling. Even if I equate it to if I'm making a Sri Lankan curry or an Indian curry, I love to have that kind of hit of tomatoey or herby kind of freshness at the end. So that is my salsa done. One more little condiment here. I'm gonna make a really quick sort of crema, which is just a little thinned out sour cream in this case. All right, so with this taco filling, I kind of wanted that, you know, Tex-Mex flavor where you have that dried spice, and I'm gonna also add some extra flavor here by not just using mince, but also chorizo sausage. Okay, so the reason why this is worth doing, even though it looks a little messy, is that you have so much flavor that someone has gone to the trouble of putting into that sausage, and I'm cheating a little by using that up here without having to add too much extra stuff. Just have to get my hands a little bit dirty, but that's not too bad. So I'm not finished with the little tricks here yet. I do have a couple left up my sleeve for this taco filling, but first of all, I want to get my wok really ripping hot. We've talked about this before, but this time we're gonna do a technique that I use for any mince meat stir frying. And yes, there is a specific technique that will make your mince meat beautiful in the wok as opposed to sweaty in the wok. So this is what I do. I get the wok really, really hot. And actually the wok is such a great pan to be doing mince because as you'll see, we'll get this really great caramelization going on. So first of all, I'm waiting for this scary smoke, which we've got. And then I'm gonna put my oil in. My beef mince goes in. Spread it out as thin as you can. Get lots of mince, getting that searing heat straight away. Okay, and now don't touch it. Now, if any of you have watched my hoisin beef noodle video, you would know this technique. This is the hamburger technique or the hard sear. What we're waiting for is the mince to smell like it's so beautifully charred that it's like you're cooking a hamburger. So you're waiting for that. Okay, so have a look here, and I have resisted the urge to touch anything, and here we are. I can smell hamburgers. And now if I flip this over, there we go. So look at that color. So that color is flavor. That's what you call the Maillard reaction in action. So the Maillard reaction is when the proteins, amino acids, they all caramelize and they create these extra aromas and flavors that you wouldn't get if you hadn't have been patient and waited for that beautiful reaction. I'm gonna throw my chorizo bits and pieces in. All right, so this is what I'm talking about, guys. If you've done the really good hard sear technique, you will have a taco filling that's starting to look like this. No moisture down the bottom, beautiful, like caramelized meat. This smells so good. I haven't even added the spices yet. One more thing I like to do with my taco filling at home is actually add in a little bit of something that's healthy. So I put chickpeas in here because they have a really great flavor. They soak up all of the spices and I feel a little bit more virtuous about my taco filling. So I get my chickpeas here and I've got a potato masher, also not something you would usually see as a wok of cooking implement, but it actually helps to break down those chickpeas a little and get them smushed in with my beef and chorizo and the spices, some smoked paprika, cumin, and garlic powder. A little salt. All right, let's build some tacos. Building the taco, I have some white corn tortillas here, some iceberg lettuce. Now this is like a Tex-Mex style of taco. I'm not claiming that this is the most authentic Mexican taco. This is just the taco that I like to make at home when I'm with the kids on a weeknight. So a little bit of my mixture here. Look at that. Oh, it's beautifully caramelized. I get so excited about these things. Okay, a little bit of my salsa, cheese, and a little bit of that crema that we made, some coriander. And for me, that is such an awesome weeknight taco. I'm gonna make a few more here just so my plate looks pretty for you all. All right, I am supremely happy with this. I do like a little squeeze of lime on my tacos, so I'm gonna do that. Now I get to eat it, yay! This is my favorite part. Ah, that is just so good. That beautifully crusty seared meat with the chorizo and the chickpeas and the spices. Oh my goodness, so good. Ah, so that little extra bit of technique makes such a difference. Yum. So we just finished the author shot. This book is a little different to my other ones in that I won't be on the cover, I'll just be inside. I'm gonna hero my wok on the cover. But yeah, it's interesting because this is my 5th cookbook, my third book as my own publisher. So I have a publishing company which does create books for other creators as well, which is amazing. And I guess it's kind of like, it's weird because I've been an author on set with a publisher before, but it's so much more rewarding to be the author / publisher while you're going through this book process, because it's not just the book that I'm creating, but it's everything, the ecosystem around the book. I need to make sure it's commercially viable, it's also what my audience wants. The way we publish books is different because we go straight to the audience, we don't go through the regular routes, if you like. So I'm not thinking about booksellers, I'm not thinking about how I'm going to market it to a salesperson. I'm just thinking about what my audience wants. And so throughout the whole process of the book, I'm cooking, but I'm also thinking about all those things that a publisher would think about as well. So yeah, it's a big thing. I love it though, I love the challenge. I think often I'm more creative when I am challenged, so it's fun, it's a good process. And this is how you go about creating that beautiful sear and all those lovely flavours without getting your shirt dirty. I need like a little, I'll just bulldog clip it. There we go. Problem solved.